something that has been a goal of many people in the past. Even the ancients were doing it, and obviously they didn't have plastic surgery back then. So beauty routines were all about balancing the body to bring out the best version of yourself, including things like good tone in the skin, plushness, firmness, a good kind of balance between your organs. So if you want to accentuate your beauty, then you really want to balance all your body organs and make sure that they're running to the best capacity. So
it kind of goes back to the whole concept of beauty inside and out.
Absolutely. There is no distinction in Chinese medicine, and that's why in cosmetic acupuncture, when you do get cosmetic acupuncture, it's all about treating the whole body, with a focus on the face or whatever.
Okay. So how do you, what are your perceptions of that? So that's not the right question. Hold on. What have you got down there? Balance. Okay, let's talk about the balance. So when you're affiliating Chinese medicine with beauty, how do you find that balance? What sort of steps are taken? What can someone do? How would you work with a client if you needed to help them?
So let's just talk about imbalance.
Sure.
Because that's easier to identify.
Right.
Especially if you don't know. So for instance, if someone comes in and they've got very red skin, that's a sign of an imbalance. And in that case, it's too much heat or inflammation.
Okay.
So Chinese medicine looks at that and says, instead of just putting a cream on to make you more pale, then you might want to look at how can we take the heat out of the system.
Right.
So either we can use acupuncture or herbs. Sometimes we do do topical creams. But the topical creams work as a systemic balancing aspect.
So what's in a topical cream?
So one of my favourites, which I use quite a lot, for instance, is pearl powder. Pearl powder's really good.
And it's made from pearls?
It's crushed pearls.
Oh wow! God, pearls are great for everything, aren't they?
So you'll find actually pearl powder in a lot of beauty products in the Chinese medicine.
Okay.
But it is really good, and it actually cools the body. So you can actually put it topically or take it internally as well.
Oh really?
Yeah.
You can ingest pearls?
Yes.
That's fascinating.
It's actually very healthy. It's full of minerals and trace elements.
Really?
Yeah, which is very good. In our world, quite often, a lot of us are quite depleted in the micronutrients.
Right.
So, yeah.
Okay, talk about what's micronutrients. I know that's going off beauty a bit, but just what is that?
So they're the nutrients that you don't easily find in things like lettuce or tomato or so on. So trace minerals are high in things like pearl powder. I think seaweed is also very high in trace minerals. There's certain plant seaweeds, but also things like pearls, and I'm just trying to think of the other one. I think there's I can't think of it right now.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, you stopped me up.
Sorry, I went on a tangent as I do.
There is, but usually it's seaweeds.
Okay.
Are high in trace minerals.
And what do those trace minerals do internally? And you said that it works with beauty as well. So how do the two affiliate?
So basically, obviously, if you're missing something, then you're not operating at your best capacity.
Right.
Okay? Because we live in such depleted societies where our food systems are quite limited. We often miss trace minerals.
Right.
And plus, because everything's sterilised and radiated, all the things that you'd find on top of the leaves, for instance, say on a piece of kale. You might find a whole lot of living organisms that might be living on that leaf that people would have just ingested, and they would have got micronutrients off all the, amoeba, bacteria, whatever it is. Nowadays, because we wash everything and fluoridated, it's been through, the cold storage, and it's been sprayed. So we just don't get the range of microorganisms that we did anymore, but so they would have been providing us with some form of nutrients as well. So yeah, you know, we
well,
do have the meat and three veg
of course.
kind of mentality in the Western world.
It's hard to break that with a lot of people.
And the other thing that's really interesting is because the microorganisms within our guts is also quite limited.
Right.
We are not creating a lot of extra kind of nutrients that the bacteria in our bodies create.
Right.
So we're not absorbing that anymore because our gut microflora has become quite limited.
Right, okay. It's funny that you talk about, you know, just talking internally about the whole meat and veg concept. Linking that with beauty, for me personally, I found that the moment I cut red meat from my diet, my skin improved, which led me to believe that it wasn't exactly the best thing for me to eat. Personally, I can't speak for anybody else, that was just me. But it was one of the significant things I noticed within my body, that clearly there was something in the meat that I was struggling with digesting or processing, and it was reflecting on my skin.
Okay, so I'll say two things about that. Sure. Firstly, in Chinese medicine, meat, especially red meat, is highly heating.
Right.
Okay, so if you're eating a lot of red meat, you're creating a lot of heat in your body. So if you wanted to create a lot, the opposite, then the opposite would be true. Like a lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit is cooling.
Okay,
so that's the first point that I wanted to make about that. The second point is, when you eat meat, you change the gut bacteria in your body to favour certain gut bacteria which are highly inflammatory.
Ah, okay.
So a lot of inflammation comes from the gut.
That's interesting. So eating the red meat was a reflection of that. Yes. There was clearly creating that inflammation and then reflecting that on the skin.
Absolutely. So quite often what's happening in your gut is reflected in your face.
Ah, okay. That's really interesting.
It's like palm readers can read palms and tell you certain things. From a Chinese medicine perspective, you can look at someone's face and they can tell you a whole story as to what's actually happening inside your body.
Wow.